Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Just picture a typical Sunday at the shooting range.
Yeah, you can almost smell it. Gunpowder and, I don't know, quiet focus.
Exactly. It's rhythmic, that pop, pop, pop. You're in your lane, feeling totally zen. You line up the sights on that paper target.
7 yards away, standard stuff.
You breathe in, breathe out, squeeze. Bullseye, a perfect hole right in the 10 ring. You do it again and again. You feel like a machine.
It's a very satisfying feeling. It builds a ton of confidence.
It does. But here's the paradox, and honestly, it's the whole reason we're doing this deep dive today.
Mm-hmm.
That same person, this absolute surgeon on the range, gets into a real-life defensive situation. Maybe a dark parking lot, same distance.
And they miss. They miss everything.
Or they just freeze. The skills just, they evaporate. So why? That's the question.
It happens way more often than anyone wants to admit.
Today, we're digging into this amazing piece from Tech. It's written by an instructor named Herfel, 30 years of experience. And the title says it all. Why stress destroys shooting accuracy.
And right off the bat, he makes it clear this isn't about, having bad eyesight or a dirty gun.
No. He calls it a human performance problem.
Which is such a critical distinction. It's not about competency. It's about what happens to that competency under extreme pressure.
I love his analogy. He says it's a software problem, not a hardware problem.
That's it. The gun is the hardware. It doesn't know it's in a fight. It's just a machine. But you, the shooter, you're the software.
And under that life or death stress, the software, it just glitches out.
The whole operating system changes without your permission. It's like your brain reverts to a factory default setting, and that setting is panicked caveman.
Right, like when your computer crashes because you tried to open Photoshop and a video game at the same time. Herfel actually breaks this crash down into 3 systems.
3 interlock systems that all fail at once. It's a cascade.
Perception, motor control, and decision-making.
On the range, you have all the time and mental space in the world for those. In a fight, stress just cannibalizes all of that.
So let's walk through this system by system, because I think most people just think, oh, I'll be scared, I'll shake a little. But it's so much more violent than that. Let's start with system 1, motor control.
The hands. This is all about the sympathetic nervous system kicking in.
Fight or flight. We all know the term.
We do, but we don't think about what it actually does to our fine motor skills.
Yeah.
Your brain detects a threat and just dumps this cocktail of adrenaline and cortisol into your system.
Getting you ready to do something big and powerful.
Exactly. It's preparing you to either punch something hard or run away very fast. It's shunting blood to your quads, your back, your biceps.
It is not prioritizing the tiny little muscles in your index finger.
Not at all. Those muscles are an afterthought. Your body is optimizing for gross motor output, not precision.
He uses a term in the article that I found fascinating. Co-contraction. It sounds really technical.
It does, but we've all felt it. Imagine you're driving on an icy road and your car starts to slide.
Oh, yeah. White-knuckle grip on the steering wheel. Instantly.
That's co-contraction. It's when your opposing muscle groups, your biceps and triceps, for example, they fire at the same time. They're fighting each other.
So it's not just shaking. It's like your whole arm is locked up and rigid.
You're literally fighting your own body. Your forearm tightens up, which curls your fingers into this, death grip on the gun, which completely messes up your aim.
And then there's the trigger finger, the dreaded trigger mash.
Right. On the range, you're all about that smooth, deliberate press, under stress with adrenaline screaming, go ahead now, you don't press.
You slap it.
You just mash that trigger to the rear as hard and fast as you can. Your brain is demanding action, and your finger just obeys the urgency, not the technique.
And on a handgun, if you mash the trigger even a tiny bit, you're dipping the muzzle down into the side.
And that shot is gone. It's low and left before the bullet even leaves the barrel.
It's just wild to think your own biology can betray you like that. Your nervous system is running a survival script that is completely incompatible with the tool in your hands.
That's the hardware versus software disconnect in a nutshell.
Okay, so that's system 1. My hands are basically useless claws.
Yeah.
That's bad enough. But then we get to system 2, perception. He calls it the reality distortion field.
This is where it gets really strange, almost psychological. We trust our eyes, but under stress, our eyes start to lie to us. The biggest one is tunnel vision.
I've heard of that. You just focus on the threat.
But it's more than that. It's not just that the edges of your vision get blurry. Your brain literally stops processing information it deems irrelevant.
So you could be staring at the weapon in an attacker's hand so intently
that you don't see his accomplice standing 5 feet away. You don't see the innocent bystander behind him. You don't see the exit.
You're literally seeing the world through a soda straw.
You are. And at the same time, you get auditory exclusion. Your hearing just dampens. People could be screaming warnings at you, and you might not hear them. You might not even hear your own gunshots.
The article links this perceptual chaos to something called panic cadence. This felt like a huge concept.
Panic cadence is a perfect term for it. It's driven by time compression. In a crisis, time gets weird, right? It can feel like slow motion
Or like it's speeding up uncontrollably.
and you feel like you're behind. The threat is moving faster than you are, and your brain panics. It screams, catch up, speed up.
So you start shooting.
You start pulling the trigger at a rhythm, a cadence that outpaces your ability to actually see and aim. You're firing the next shot before your eyes have even confirmed the sights are back on target from the last shot's recoil.
That's a terrifying thought. It's like you're just making noise.
You're essentially just riding the explosions, and you're probably thinking, I'm fighting, I'm shooting, but really you're just emptying a magazine into the wall.
So motor skills have failed, perception has failed. And that brings us to the third part of the cascade. System 3, decision-making.
This is the invisible one. We judge shootings by the bullet holes, right? Marksmanship. But Herfel argues that a lot of so-called misses are actually decision errors.
How is a miss a decision area? Explain that.
Well, think about processing lag. Your brain is completely overwhelmed with information. It's trying to figure out, is he a threat? Is he dropping the weapon? Should I shoot? Should I stop?
It's like playing a video game with a really bad internet connection.
Perfect analogy. You might decide to shoot when the threat is here. But by the time your brain sends the signal and your finger actually moves, the threat has moved there.
You shot at a ghost.
You shot at where he was a half second ago. That's not a marksmanship problem. That's a timing and decision problem.
And this just exposes the huge, massive flaw in how most of us train. The whole square range mentality.
Oh, absolutely. We stand still in a well-lit lane, shooting at a piece of paper that never moves, never shoots back, never tries to trick you.
It's comfortable. Makes us feel competent.
But it's static. It has no ambiguity. In real life, the hardest part often isn't pulling the trigger. It's deciding if and when to pull it. And you're neglecting that entire decision-making circuit.
So we've painted a pretty bleak picture. My hands are claws. My vision is a tunnel. My brain is lagging. Is there any good news? Can this actually be fixed?
Yes. Thankfully, yes. But it requires a total shift in how we think about training. The solution they propose is stress inoculation.
Which means you have to intentionally introduce stress into your training.
You have to, specifically through things like force-on-force training.
So this is not shooting at paper anymore.
No, this is you in a mock-up of a building with a modified gun that shoots what are basically high-speed paintballs, and you're up against another thinking, moving human being.
Why is it important that they sting a little, that it hurts?
Because there has to be a consequence. On the range, a miss is whatever. You just try again. In force-on-force, if you make a mistake, if you hesitate, if you stand in the open, you get shot, and it hurts.
So it creates a little spike of genuine fear, real adrenaline.
Exactly. It forces your software to glitch out in a safe, controlled environment. You get to feel the tunnel vision. You get to feel your hand shake, and then you learn to work through it.
They mention a specific performance tool in the article for this. Tactical breathing. It sounds a little new agey.
It sounds like yoga, but it's pure biology. We talked about the sympathetic nervous system being the gas pedal, right?
Yeah.
Tactical breathing is the brake pedal. It directly stimulates the vagus nerve and engages the parasympathetic nervous system.
So you're basically hacking your own biology.
You are. By forcing a specific rhythm in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, you are manually telling your heart rate to slow down.
And if the heart rate slows?
You regain some of that fine motor control, the tremors decrease, your peripheral vision starts to open back up, you're bringing your thinking brain back online.
But you have to practice it until it's automatic.
No.
You can't just decide to do it for the first time in a real crisis.
No, it has to be part of the training. You learn to do it while you're moving, while you're scanning for threats.
I want to tie this back to the real world. The source uses the Florida environment as its example, which makes sense since Valortech is based there.
Right. And when they say that, they don't mean swamps and alligators. They mean what they call transitional spaces.
Parking lots, gas stations, apartment hallways, ATMs, the places we all move through every single day.
And the conditions in those places are key. They're often low light, they're cluttered with cars and pillars, and most importantly,
They're crowded. There are other people around.
that is the absolute nightmare scenario. You have a threat, but you also have a family loading groceries into their minivan 2 cars down.
And if you're in that state of tunnel vision and panic cadence, just slamming the trigger
Where are those misses going?
into the minivan.
That's why calm range accuracy is, frankly, a dangerous illusion. You can't rely on a skill you built in a quiet, empty room when the final exam is in a dark, chaotic, crowded parking lot.
It really separates shooting as a hobby from shooting as a defensive skill. They're almost different sports.
They are. One is a martial art, the other is target practice. And we have to stop pretending they're the same. If you carry a tool for defense, you have an ethical obligation to pressure test your ability to use it.
You don't rise to the occasion. You sink to the level of your training.
And if your training has never included stress, your level is effectively 0.
That is a very sobering thought. And I want to leave our listeners with this idea because it goes so far beyond just shooting. This software glitch, it applies everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. To surgeons, firefighters, police officers, even a parent in a household emergency.
So if you think you're good at something, really good at it, ask yourself this one question. Have you ever had to do it while your heart was pounding at 160 beats per minute?
Have you done it when your hands were shaking, when you couldn't really hear straight, and when you were genuinely terrified of the consequences?
Because if the answer is no, then you don't really know if you can do it. You only know you can do it when it's easy.
And when it matters most, it's never easy.
Something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Stay safe.